Hello, hello. I'm Lara Joe, Siren Lover. I hope you're having a beautiful day. I'm going to read some energy, talk about life, love, spirituality, anything that comes up. So, grab a seat, put up your feet, grab some tea. Let's see what we have today. All right. Whoa, okay. It was a lot. I'm going to take those three that came. Oh, there's four that came out with that. All right. So we have Three of Cups, the Chariot, Three of Coins, and Death. So what's coming out here is a lot of threes because Death is number 13 as well. So 3 there. Okay, so this is things need to change. With Cancer, this is Chariot, so this is Cancerian energy. That's centered around our family. It's like people were intentionally taking our good nature with financial situations and emotional, like, gratuity and taking advantage of it. They were putting us in that disempowered energy. So this is emotional energy because we do have Cancer and we have Scorpio energy. So it's like, in order to protect your family, you must put an end to people, places, things. They're trying to keep you in that financial disempowerment with Three of Pentacles and that emotional disempowerment with like Three of Cups. Again, these were situations that were seeing your kindness as weakness. So it's time to say goodbye to that. Time to say, you know what, I'm not going to hang out with people that compromise my family, my home, my stability, my happiness, because that's what Cancer truly is. It centers around your stability and emotions with home. So you're going to put an end to it with that Death energy and say, no, I need to put me and what I want first. Let that be what drives you. Don't let it be what others want from you or for you, but let it be what you want, what makes you happy. All right. Hello, hello. I am Lara Joe. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Come on in. We're going to talk about life, love, spirituality, energy, see what's going on. Okay. The energy the last few days has been incredibly bizarre. So, 8 of Cups, needing to let go of anything that is emotionally holding you stuck, stagnant, in place. You've done all the watering here you can do. It's time to keep moving, babes. And Queen of Wands, she's that girl. She's that guy. Like, you need to decide that your emotions are valid, worthy, your happiness is worthy, and start fighting for it. Because 8 of Cups is saying, you know what, I have watered this, and it's never going to grow. Like, these emotions with these people, it's not going to grow because they are not willing to put in the effort to meet you. You did all this work and no one showed up. Okay, so enjoy your party by yourself and fight for what it is that you want and you love, feel passionate about. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, very take charge, right? They know what they want, they get it. Being decisive about your love, your life, finally saying no to the people that are continually taking from you and saying, no, my happiness, my love, what I want matters. Because what you want is going to change the world. So do it, even if it's just changing the world for you. The world is a better place because you decide you want to be in it and do the dang thing. All right. Heavy earth energy coming now with Queen of Pentacles. This is building that stability. Hierophant is Taurus energy. It's that higher knowledge, that knowing. Hierophant is that side of Venus, the grounded side, because it's Taurus. So it's very much about love, beauty, contracts, but knowing the higher place that this all takes. And with Queen of Pentacles is confirmation. The thing with Three of Swords, this is icky energy. People were trying to triangulate you. So again, 3 is coming out super heavy today. So if 333 or 3 just is a number for you, that's the Trinity, right? It's the past, present, future. It's the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, the Mother, the Maiden, and the Crone. So anytime you see 3s, you're like, wait, I've felt this before. It's time to let it go. So with Three of Swords, this is mental mind games, triangulation, and it comes from the people that you love the most. It's intimate. Swords is always intimate because it's someone that knows you, they know how you operate. And finally saying, you know what, I see the bigger picture and I'm not going to argue with people that just want to argue. This was a learning lesson that actually came up this week, right? I had to tell someone that likes to engage with people that like to fight. I'm like, you can't keep giving them the same reaction they want. You're giving them exactly what they want when you argue with them. So tap into that higher knowledge of knowing that don't waste your energy on people that are truly trying to waste your energy. All right. Hello. I'm Lara Jo. Come on in. Ty, what are you asking, babe? We're saying, let me ask. Are you okay? So you came into my live to ask for financial assistance? I need financial assistance too, so don't be coming into my live and trying to ask for help like that, please. That's not cool. I cannot send you money, Ty, because I don't have $50. People come to me because I offer a service. No. I don't have $50 to offer you. And like I say, people come to me. I don't even have $25, Ty. People come to me because I don't even have $10. And coming in and wasting my time is not cool. Because, yeah. Sienna, baby, what is your yes or no question? Everyone needs discounts, Ty. No, I don't. I do a lot of free work though, so if you're actually wanting to learn, come on in, but don't come in and ask for money, and don't ask for discounts, and don't ask for an IOU. I don't know you, and you don't know me, and that's actually a very dangerous practice you're doing right there. So, all right, Sienna, baby. Give me a minute, babe. Okay, so I'm going to tell you this in the spiritual realm, and I'm sorry you're being filtered, and I don't know if you're saying... Okay, so if you're thinking about them, they're thinking about you. So if you're constantly thinking about someone, that's because you're constantly... Ty, I do my own hair. You're being absolutely disgusting and rude. Okay, that's not cool. Like... Okay, so Sienna, my love, have you heard of cord cutting or energetic cutting? And people are unreal. I'm sorry. What the actual heck is wrong with people? Okay, so here's what I would do. Because part of the world, right, is detachment. So you can really like them, but then you need to let go. Be like, I really like them, and I'm going to let them go. Because if they're meant to be with you, they'll come back to you. And I'm speaking also from the spiritual stance of, like, if you're meant to be with someone, the universe will almost sometimes literally deliver them to your door. So it's letting them go and allowing whatever is meant for you to come in. Right? Allowing what is for you. Like, I'm huge on the let people do their thing and then watch them. Thank you, baby, for sending love. So when people when we love someone, it's like loving them enough to know that when they leave, if they're meant to be, they're going to come back willingly. So that is the big part of it. Do I feel that they're thinking about you? Yeah, because if you've been thinking about them, they are thinking about you. That is the way that works. And if you really are meant to be with them, your spiritual team will make it happen. Okay? And I hope that makes sense. Like, if you want to talk about, like, bending of realities, that's where that goes to. But yeah, if you're thinking about them, they're thinking about you. But your job is to do what makes you happy, not sit at home and wonder, like, oh, what are they doing? Where are they at? No, babe, I want you to live your most beautiful life. And if they are meant to be with you, they're going to catch up to you and come along. And to be honest, I did a working yesterday with someone who I'm very close to, and this is the first time they allowed me to do this with them. And they're like, what does this mean? And I have, like, pictures of what the flames were doing and stuff like that. And I was like, that is, like, they have to step up, and they were working really hard to catch up to where this person that I was working with is at. So, energetically, they come back to us when they're meant to. You have to make sure that you are asking for the thing and holding a high standard and not allowing people to lowball you. Okay, I hope that makes sense for whoever needs that. If that's you, Sienna, if you're still in, I hope that makes sense, babes. Yeah. All right. Okay, good. So your job is to live your best life. Have the most fun. Do the dang thing, right? Have stories. So I'm going to talk about this for a moment, because sometimes what will happen is people have to clean up their circle. Like, we're all karmic, right? Karmic, like, we're all karmic to someone. So sometimes what will happen, we'll meet someone, we'll have really intense, they're going to go off and learn lessons with other people, and we're going to go off and learn lessons with other people. And these are lessons that neither of you really truly want to teach each other. Like, I can get mad about affairs all day long, but I'm like, no, that affair partner that person had, I saw how they wanted to act, and I let them. And then that affair partner that they decided to go live with wrecked their world. So those are lessons that, like I say, we don't want to have to teach them, and they don't want to have to teach us, so we let other people teach it. I've seen that with divine counterparts. It's like, yeah, they'll go off, they'll run from a divine connection, they'll get scared, they'll go off, they'll get married, they'll have kids, and then they'll realize the whole time, like, oh no, I was actually supposed to be right here with you. So it does happen. And like I said, we all are here to learn and grow. We are all here to teach other people things and for them to teach us. So it's how do we allow the universe to beautifully orchestrate life for us and trust in that bigger picture. Like, sometimes a lot of my lesson, okay, I'm a control freak. I'm going to be honest right here. I'm a control freak because I was raised by people that were control freaks because they had bad habits. So I had to be perfect. So then, yeah, so a lot. Okay, so Sienna, my love, I am so happy you have found this collective. I'm Lara Joe. Hello. I'm sorry about, like, the energy that came in with you. I was like, what are you doing, man? That's rude. Welcome to our collective. So a part of it is learning to let go and not be super controlling. Like, that is part of the lesson, like, and that's a lesson I've been learning hard for the last year since my mother passed. Even when my mother was passing, my mother and I were no contact in her end, and as she was passing, I literally had to release control, right? Even though I had so many people on me trying to push me, and then release control and give it up to God. Like, I literally had to have a conversation with my mother. I found out a day and a half before she passed, and I was still really angry at her. And in that day and a half, I literally said to my ancestors, like, forgiveness is not in my heart. So I'm like, God, I need you to take the wheel. Take that. So as a control freak, there are points in your journey you're just literally gonna have to take your hands off the wheel and be like, ancestors, I need you to drive. I said to my ancestors that day, like, before she passed, because I was sending my mother energy to help her pass peacefully, even though I was super angry. Like I said, I had to give it up to ancestors. But it was that I said to them, I was like, hey, this is above my pay grade. I cannot mentally forgive her. Like, I'm still so angry. And like I say, give it up to my ancestors. My ancestors helped I know she went peacefully, even though she had people. I mean, like, she actually did have people in the family trying to end her because they used my mother in spell work against me, which sounds real big and far-fetched, yet I can talk about all the receipts on that end because my mother wasn't the only woman that they've sacrificed trying to sacrifice me. So, I know that she was taken and she was angry about it. She talked about it, like the 1-year anniversary of her passing. She was, because I do ancestral work too. So I do a lot of ancestral work. I do a lot of working with, like, reminding my clients to feed your ancestors, connect with your ancestors, ancestral veneration. And when it came up on the anniversary of her passing, she was so angry because she's like, I was taken out of here in an unfair way. I was like, well, you kind of live that life, but at the same time, I hear you. So she was definitely asking for attention to be brought back to her and her passing, to say, hey, this was coerced. Like, my family did, like, my sister, who had direct access to her and worked in the medical field, was over there telling her, you're going to die on this day. I didn't find out for months afterwards. Like, I found out a lot of things on the back end. I'm like, oh no, my mom actually was used as a sacrifice in spell work on the court system against me. And then they turned around and used her life insurance policies to do more horrifying things to me. So, and they cut me out of the will and all kinds of jazz. So, while my mother had horrible people around her, I still was sending her love. Yes. Yep. And I didn't know until I knew. And the irony, I'm going to say this because I have a lot of different practices that are coming at me, right? Where I live currently, I have a lot of different practices that come at me. And I know it makes people's heads spin, but I'm like, no, I do work with deities and different practices, not because I called them, but because somebody sent them to me. And I'm like, oh, because I've had some of those deities show up like days before that other practitioner, or days before their work shows up. Like, the deity that they tried to petition will show up knocking on my door to say, hey, I want to speak to you. This is coming. Let's work together. It's, yeah. Families are very dangerous. And I will say this too. They do. So those deities, like, because practitioners were doing things against, like, women and children, I was like, you can't do that. You cannot do that. That ancestor, like, they tried to petition ancestors that they weren't ever feeding or truly working with, and then they get to me and I do feed them, and that deity, that ancestor is like, yeah, I know, but I do. That is a huge thing. And that's what also all these people that are sending work against me, I'm like, first off, they're not actually paying the energies that they're utilizing, and they always send them to me, and, like, I can't, this isn't trying to be cocky, but, like, they can't collect on me. And they know that, or they don't know that, even though I warned them so many times. And then that whatever they sent to me says, whoa, I can't. And I'm like, well, I'm going to feed you. I'm going to gift you because you're here and you have something to impart to me, but you need to go back to that person to collect. So, and a lot of my gifting them is just honoring them. Like, and that's where a lot of people are getting in trouble right now. It's like, okay, so let's even talk about celebrity for a second. Like, where Beyonce is getting into hot water, right? She calls upon and channels Oshun, yet she doesn't actually give credit and props to Oshun. Yeah. Yep. And Sienna Baby, I have, like, so many stories of where I have been ancestral protected. And it is Jay-Z, but it's even deeper than that. And, like, everything that's going on right now is just so... There's so much I can unpack on all that. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't truly understand. I'm like, it's so frustrating because I want to talk about it. So I went down the rabbit hole the other day. Okay, so just a fast and dirty little bit about me. I'm a high priestess. I am obviously a spiritual practitioner. I'm a shapeshifter. So I identify a lot with Kim K because we're both Libras, right? We're both Libra high priestesses. And then when I look at, like, Diddy, and that is the point, but then you have people like us who are over here trying to be like, you guys need to wake up. So I just put 2 and 2 together the other day because Kim K is a huge practitioner in the Church of Hollywood, right? Yeah. And Diddy, he's the high priest. Those are rituals. And if you know anything about Libras, we are in the legal system. We're judicial. We bring balance. We are huge in espionage. We're known as the, God's, we're known as the best friend zodiac because we do know everyone and we have receipts on everyone. So to have Kim K as the high priestess that is in everything and has friends in high and low places, and then Diddy being a priest, and he's a Scorpio, right? I speak because this is personal experience. Like, I deal heavy with Scorpio. I love Scorpio. Yeah. Yes. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Let me get into that. But the Scorpio side of things, like, they like pain. They like torture. They that gets them off. So the fact when you put Kim K and Diddy, because it goes a lot deeper and that tie is a lot shorter than anyone realizes. Because now as I'm hearing testimony, I'm like, oh no, she was a handler and she definitely was keeping state, all of this has been about state secrets, honestly. So, yep. And that's that part of it. So you have the person that is perfect in espionage. Yeah, and that's why I adore her. Like, I'm in a lot of the Libras, like Cardi, Kim, Eminem. You have a lot of these Libras, and I was like, no, we are a lot smarter than people realize, and we get a rap for being like passive aggressive. And I was like, no, we'll let it slide until it becomes too far. And then once it becomes too far, like if you get a Libra's scales tipping, we're going to start tripping. So, yeah. Yep. We're also like Libras are walking karma. Walking karma. They so a lot of the zodiac, like the stereotypes are wrong, but a lot of them do kind of they are kind of right. Where you're like, why does every Libra have that aesthetic? And you're like, oh, I'm still a little fluffy about that person coming in and asking for money. Like, what the actual. And then insulting me. Sorry. I need to let it go. I just. Yeah. And so, okay. So, as a Libra, I kind of have a library. Like, I build a library. I have a very extensive. So, as I'm collecting resources, as I'm collecting knowledge, I'm starting to get more into the birth chart, because you're right. When you actually, I figured out last week, I'm like, oh no, you have to love someone like their Venus sign, right? You have to love, you have to know your Jupiter, so you know the next thing. So that's a deeper rabbit hole, because people just want to say oh, I'm a Libra sun. I was like, okay, but your moon is how you relate to your mother. And, that's your internal world, your emotional hellscape. So when you look at, my big three are mess. And I'm like, yeah, no wonder I'm so, because my big three are, why did I do this? Because I knew I'd handle it, but, yeah. Well, and then, Sienna, when you start putting in, yeah, yes, and your rising is how you truly present, who you are when you're alone. That's your rising, right? The sun is what you present to the outer world. Your moon, that inner mom relationship, your internal emotional, and then your rising, who you act like and who you're meant to become in this lifetime. Which, yeah. So I love all that stuff though too. It's taken me a while to get into it, because I've also been exploring. Gosh, if you want to go down rabbit holes, take the numbers in your life and start putting them into things. If you put the numbers in your life, your birthday, into gematria, there's a gematria calculator called Gematrix, and you can put words, phrases, numbers. I'm a huge numerology person too, and numbers, and yeah. So have you gone down the gematria rabbit hole yet? Because that's a whole other ball of wax, but I love it. I love putting people onto that because, like, I took, gosh, and knowing, okay. See, and I don't know a dang thing about verdict charts, so you may actually get me on another rabbit hole. So I'll set you on one, and then I'll have to start learning about verdict charts. Or if you want to message me, and we can talk about it there, because I don't know anything about it, but I always love to learn. I always love to put like another piece to the puzzle to add who I am. So, gematria though, if you take your name, you take, like, I've put in so many different phrases and combinations and everything. And the things, because gematria, it'll come up with, like, you'll put in a name and it'll come up with other, like, messages that have that same value as that name. And then what I like to do is, like, look and see, like, oh, that's a message I needed. Yes. And the website is, actually message me and I'll send it to you. But it's Gematrix. I love it. It's, if you love conspiracy theories and rabbit holes, gematria is a whole other ball game to get stuck in, and I love it. So, yeah. All right. I still can't. What was up with that person honestly coming and asking for money? Like, I'm just confuzzled. And then insulting. I'm still just. Alright, I know I'm making weird faces. That's the challenge. My face has no chill. Well, okay, so, like, I do love TikTok, and so I stream on more than just one platform. Like, I stream on a few platforms when I can. I stream on, like, 4 or 5 platforms, but at the present, I'm doing 2. And they all have such a different vibe. Of course, I learned that, like, when I was in the professional world, like, certain parts of town, because I traveled around, I worked in the medical field, and each part of town would have a different demographic or vibration and clientele. So I'm used to being able to adjust and flip, but, okay, God. Yes! Well, in Siena, okay, so I had it happen this week, too, and it triggered so many things this week in me, and I'm like, oh, but I don't like people watching me intensely because my face does shapeshift, right? If you watch me long enough, you're gonna see my face, like, do something weird, and I can't even control it. And I had this week where someone stared intensely at me, and I was like, that makes me really uncomfortable because my face has no poker. I don't have a poker face. I don't. Like, if my mouth don't say it, my face will. And I have children just like it. It gets us in a lot of trouble, right? Like, that's what makes it challenge when people, like, stare. And I'm like, whoa, man, don't do that. You're going to see something that scares you, and then we're going to have a conversation. Or that angers you. I did have a lot of aggressive, obsessive men that like to watch, and then they would get angry if I showed displeasure. And it was like, oh, yes, and I mean, people watch me do it. Like, people watch me do it, and I'm like, I can't, I wish I could stop it. Like, there are points, and I can feel it. Like, how I say my mom passed away? There are phases that I can feel where I shapeshift into, like, my mother. I go 40 years into the future, and I'm like, whoa, man, I don't like that. Like, and I also don't fight anymore. I'm like, no, you know what? My higher self knows what I need or what I'm doing, but I had a I was thinking about this too. I had a test in my readiness to start a new relationship because I had my kid this week. She's spent a few nights this week, which is out of the ordinary, but she's like, I could sleep in your bed. And I was like, she's like, you look so scared, Mom. I'm like, I know, because I like my personal space. Like, I've been away from their dad for 2 years. I actually like being single. I don't like people being in my own space, but I know. Okay, so here's the other caveat. Source has been telling me that there's a partner coming. And I know that I have to make space for him. Like, okay, this has been a year and a half in the making, knowing it's coming, but it's getting even louder that, hey, your physical counterpart is coming. I was like, Okay. But I don't want to share my bed. I don't. Don't breathe too loud. Like, oh my gosh, we were talking about that. Because I was like, sometimes your dad would breathe too loud, and I just wanted to, like, because it's annoying, but we don't. Yes. Well, because, okay, so Sienna, I'm gonna guess you're probably the same vibration of me, as where you had to give and give and give and give and give to everyone else. And now you're like, I don't want to share. And there is nothing wrong with that at all. And I get it, because you've probably had to put everyone else first. I know when I came out of that relationship, because I went from my parents' house to my ex-husband's house, and I married someone he was a culmination of my mother, my father, and all of my huge exes. He was a culmination of all. He was like the grand Mac Daddy of demons to slay. And I didn't, like, when I first had to go shopping when I became single, and I didn't have to shop for anyone else, it literally gave me a panic attack. Like, anxiety. I would melt down. Even my ex-boyfriend, this was almost a year ago, my ex-boyfriend, it was like, he would ask me what my favorite cake was, and I melted down. I shut down, because I'm like, I can tell you what everyone else's favorite cake is. I can tell you my dad's preferences. I know them like the back of my hand. I can tell you my ex-husband, my kids, everyone's, but I can't tell you mine. And the amount of panic that actually brings up is just astounding, crippling, understated. Yeah. Oh, God. It's so hard, though, but it weirds me out when it's like the personal things, like, what do you like to eat? What do you do for fun? Because I've always had to do what everyone else wanted. Yeah. So I am here to say that it's okay. Just like the person commenting on my hair, like, do you know, like, my mom used to, because I have beautiful blonde hair, right? And my mom has given me such a hard time, and I always had to be perfect and always had to stay in her box. So now I'm like, I do whatever the hell I want with my body, with my hair, with my life, because I'm the adult and I don't have anyone else. So it does hold memories. And the fact that, okay, so here's what bothers me. My mom always has given me a hard time about dyeing my hair. And then also, this is the longest my hair has ever been in my entire life. There were 3 very tiny things I could control as an adult: my hair, my tattoos, and what I ate. Even as a kid, like my hair and what I could eat. So that was also an unlearning too, of saying, you know what, I can do what I want because I don't have anyone telling me no. And this is the longest my hair has ever been in my entire life. And it's the healthiest. I know that person was just upset, but at the same time, it's like, you don't realize the battle I've had with my hair. Like, I have shaved almost all of my hair. Like, I've done so many crazy things with my hair, and the fact that this is the longest I've ever allowed it to be is such a big accomplishment. And it's bleh. Anyway, all right, me feeling my big feelings. Right? And hair does hold memory, and that's the other side of it. Yeah. Yeah, Leilani, yes, you may ask a question. Yeah. And I spent so much of my life trying not to be feminine and always trying to protect myself. So the fact that I even allow myself to be feminine or receptive, that's a huge thing. Thank you, Karma Spirits. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, because we don't heal unless we feel, right? Thank you for the plumeria, Karma. Thank you for the flowers, baby. And thank you for coming along as I feel my big feels. I was okay, so to tell the story of how we got here now, today, I went to the bank, the river bank, right, to collect some energetics, and ended up ankle deep in the muck, in the mud, and Mother Earth reminding us to ground in. Right, ground in. Even if it means getting ankle deep to be able to feel it and to love it. So All right. Hello, Jackie. How are you? I am Larry Joe, Siren Song Lover. So this is our reminder. Get messy, get dirty, feel your feels. Right? It's time to play again. I was also a kid that hated getting dirty because I knew I was going to get yelled at. So now as an adult, like, how do we get dirty? I got pictures of my feet up there, but that's that part of it. Pivot. It's the feelings, getting stuck in the mud, and coming back to show up. So, all right, Seven of Swords, the betrayals, the heartbreaks, the deceptions. We got to leave them. We got to walk away. I think that was the hardest part in my life, is walking away from the people that I loved and that said they loved me. When you realize the betrayals, you're like, I can't keep hanging out with you. I saw behind your mask. So Seven of Swords is saying, once you see the game, the deception, let it go. Because they are trying to actually kind of, it's like that fox energy entrapment. Yes. Leilani, ask your question, please, baby girl. Let me have it. Leilani is one of my daughters is Leilani. So I was like, oh yeah, come on in. Which, that was the other part. I've been over here trying to be like a spiritual teacher for my kids for years, and they've been in the deception, right? And I've had a few breakthroughs the last few days with like spiritual and being able to help my children. Like, my kid actually asked me for a read yesterday, like an actual read for the first time ever, and it was like, okay, all right, let's go. And I also helped her yesterday. Her and I worked on her first ever cord cutting, which was very adventurous and exciting. So we do heal, we do recover, right? Like, that's the biggest part. We do heal, we do recover. Yeah. So that is the hugest part, like making sure you're getting exactly what you want. Don't ever settle, babe. Because I will say this, like, their dad gave me a pretty good life. But I did also settle and make, I mean, like, yes, abusive, yes, there was a lot there, but it was, I wish I had healed, and I wish I had commanded what I was worth instead of settling for what he could breadcrumb me with. Because kids are amazing. I freaking love my kids more than anything in the world, and this journey has been incredibly hard, and it's been a lot of self-learning and then teaching them. And the thing I will say with my kids, because I didn't step into my gifts until my priestess until 4 years ago. So I've done a lot of learning and educating with them over a very short amount of time. And it's been hard because I've been fighting against conditioning and society and all of that. So children are beautiful. Yeah. Yes, it is. It's painful and messy as hell, though. And it is a privilege of learning, and it's also a privilege when you start to get it, because like some of the things that come on, like my story is really freaking big. My story is really big. There's a lot of moving parts. I will say this, like, all of the hard things have happened, and there's been a lot. I go, no, because like this is my last lifetime that I'm reincarnating like this. So in the last 4 years, in all this mess and chaos, I've also been clearing up a lot of past life contracts in karma. Because I'm like, we're not coming back again. So we get paid, we pay, and we get paid right here, right now. Because we're not coming back later. And that's also when I'm working with people, because they're like, I don't want to keep repeating this pattern. I'm like, then we do it here, we do it now, we get rid of it. We don't keep doing this. Like, we're not coming back next lifetime to learn this. So I have had to have a few very hard conversations with my clients. They'll be like, oh, it's too hard. And I'm like, well, that's okay, but you'll be back next lifetime, and that's okay. You know, do it now or do it later. You have to choose your hard. So, oh man. Oh, all right. This is healing. This is healing. And I will say this, 4 years ago, I never would have been able to get online and talk to strangers and offer anything. So this has been the evolution for me as well, being able to, like, when you can't find the leader, you step up and become the leader. Or when you can't find the hero, you step up and I'm not saying I'm a hero by any means, or a leader, but you know, it's like when you can't find anybody that's doing the thing that you need, you become it. And that was one of the big things also when I moved to this, because I moved across the country 4 years ago, and that's where everything like kicked off. And when I was talking, like I found a spiritual place. I wasn't in a spirituality, I wasn't in a religion, I wasn't in anything, and I found a place, and I had a lot of people that tried to assist in the ways that they could, and they did, and they helped turn me on to things, but they're like, we don't, your level of where you're at, like, we don't have a way to help you. And then I was like, oh, I guess I was meant to be the one to help heal the deep PTSD, the deep trauma, like, because they didn't have anybody to help with the PTSD and the trauma. Like, that was my contribution. So, yeah. All right. Let's see. I'm going to pull a few more cards, and then I'm going to hop out. It may be time to go do the next adventure. It's been a very busy week. I know it's only Wednesday. It's been a very busy week. Spiritually and energetically, there's a lot moving. And this is also what I tell my people. Breathe, rest, drink water, meditate. Like, when life feels it's falling apart, breathe, rest, drink water, meditate, ground in. All right? The world. This is also where you say, okay, I'm closing out that chapter. Yes. So, okay, so Sienna, baby, I'm going to drop you, and I'm so sorry, girl, because I know we talked about it. So the world is closing out the chapters of who you no longer want to be. So if you want to hop into that life with Ibby, I need you to, the world, close out anything that would hurt your relationship, right? So part of that grounding is understanding you're building a world that you want and you love and you feel safe in, whether anyone else shows up or not. So Seven of Swords, we were seeing that betrayal before, and then the world is saying the ones that betrayed you, they aren't for you. You need to close out and say, no, it's my world. I'm the main, that's the other part. You are the main character, not anyone else. So it doesn't matter if your mama's happy or your brother's happy or your sister's happy or are you happy? Is your world content? Are you dancing? So the biggest thing I'm going to say for you with Ibby is cutting out anyone that would potentially hurt your relationship. Like the jealous, the naysayers, the haters, the ones that aren't truly there to support you. You need to drop them and be able to bring in that, like, cultivate the beautiful world for you and a partner. And the other part of it is that I want to say, dream bigger about what it is that you truly want. Because even if you shoot for the moon, you'll land among the stars. So this is saying, I'm going to dream for the biggest thing ever. And depending on, like, and we'll talk about grounding in a moment too, but I'm going to dream for the biggest thing ever. And if I get it, amazing. If I don't, at least I have a cool adventure. As far as grounding, so I don't love to do timelines. Unless it really comes through, I don't love to do timelines. Because think of if you've ever been a waitress, you know how you'll be like, your food's going to be out in 5 minutes. And with, your clients, because I used to be a waitress and my kid works in the restaurant industry. So this is why I use this example, right? It's pretty common. If you're a waitress and you say that food's coming out in 5 minutes and it comes out at 5:01, sometimes your table will lose their shit. So I don't love to do timelines because what I feel is it's like he may or may not vibrate out of your timeline is what it is. Like, I feel you're going to hit like a growth spurt, and I think he's going to be lapsed out. So that's, if he wants to be with you, though, he has to be catching up. And you can't make him. You can't energetically make him. You just have to say, cool, I'm doing my mission. I'm cleaning up my life. And that is that part of it. So timeline, it depends on how soon you clean up your life to allow him the space to come in and protect that situation. Does that make sense? I hope. It's like, yeah, we really want something, but we actually have to clear our environment so that we can invite them in and also make sure that when they come in, they're protected. Like, if you have a sister that is an absolute hater, right? Let's just talk about it this way. And if this resonates, please let me know. If it's very specific, please let me know. But, like, if you have a sister that is a happiness hater, yet you want to have the most beautiful, epic love story, you have to make a decision. Do I want happiness and love, or do I want my sister in my life? If you decide happiness and love, right? Because your happiness, your love, your peace should be top priority over anyone else's. So making those tough calls and just saying, hey, we're not continuing on together. So the sooner you clean out, like I say, the people that are holding you back from happiness, that intentionally try to throw blocks in your way. Yep. Yeah. So that's that point. It's just finally, same with that sister, going no contact. I will say this though, when you have a hater family member, you have to go no contact with a bunch of people. And it hurts like hell. I speak from personal. I have no contact with all of my family because they did the worst and they did the most. And I kind of already talked on it, but it's, do you want happiness or do you want to have to come back again? So that's that part of it. Same timelines. It's like, okay, you have to clean up that side so that you can bring it in. So the sooner you can start cutting out the things, the people, the places, the things. Yeah. Yeah. And it's not really loneliness though. We'll talk about that. The sooner your life starts becoming easier. Think of surgery, right? Painful at first. And then once you heal, you're like, oh gosh, why did I take so long? And that loneliness, okay, so here is the other part. I love to say, and I'll use this as an example too. I had somebody that they were having a baby being born into their family. I predicted the baby. I predicted the sex of the baby. I predicted a whole lot of healing for the family. And it came true. And where I had said, like, to the grandma, and she was complaining about something, and she was saying something, I was like, girl, you better have fun now. Because by the time that baby comes, which they had like 8 months to go at that point, or 7 months, by the time that baby comes, your life's going to be completely looking different, and you're going to be locked in. So it's like that. Like, if you knew you had 8 months to live your life, would you truly feel lonely, or would you be thankful for the time that you had to cultivate your life, your love, your happiness, what you want? And that's the other thing. It is lonely because we have been trying to live other people's identities for so long that when we actually have to sit and figure out who we are, it's kind of hard. But at the same time, we learn so much about ourselves. We learn what we truly do want and don't want. And what I always tell people, when you're solo, love yourself. Take yourself to the movies. Buy yourself flowers. Buy yourself drinks. Buy yourself jewelry. Romance yourself. Do the things that make you happy. Because then when that person that comes along that's meant to be with you, you're going to be able to teach them how to love you. An example of this for me. I had a dude that we were friends. He always wanted to be more, and he pushed it, and there's a whole story there. Yeah, and there's purposeful to that, and we'll talk about it. Oh, so grounding. If you want big manifestations, you have to make sure that your nervous system is grounded. So if you wanted large amount of money, you have to make sure that you're grounded so you don't get it and then give it away because you got too excited. So grounding is important because it helps you be able to receive. So when you're grounded in, then you can receive that cool car, you can receive that relationship, you can receive whatever. Yeah. And that sometimes, okay, and I'll talk about that too. Sometimes we'll get a preview of what we're meant to have, like that natural, so that we'll get a preview of it. Sometimes the universe will say, okay, this is what you are actually working for, or this is what you're meant for, but you've got to clear out and do all of this before you can have that. So it's that fighting for the relationship, and it doesn't have to be ibby, but fighting for that relationship that feels natural, that it feels like, oh, I've known this person forever. And I'm kind of, and I know people don't love this, but I'm going to say it this way. I don't know if it's necessarily Ibby. I feel like Ibby was meant to give you this is what you're meant to have or what you're to work for, but it may not necessarily be him. And it may just be like, when you're looking for a new relationship, this is the qualities that I want my relationship to have. Yeah. Yeah. And I honestly, like, if it's not forever, why are we even out here playing? Honestly. If it's just why? Yeah. So that is exactly it. And I had a dude that went psycho about me, and he's like, I think you're the one. I was like, no, I was just meant to get you prepared for when the one that comes in that you're meant for, you don't lose her. And he actually did lose her because he lost his mind and ended up making her eternally sleep. So that's that part of it, is that sometimes people do come along to teach us, like, okay, when you get the one, how are you going to treat them? Unfortunately, with that dude, he was a past life, and there may be, And that's for you to put into place, baby. Hello, hello. Hi, Jasleen. I'm Lara Joe. How's your day? Intuitively, you'll figure it out. It may take a little bit because sometimes it takes me years to figure out why that happened, and that's okay too. Because when you see the bigger picture, you'll be like, oh. So I really do, like, I feel like he's coming in, but, like, he was meant to awaken you so you can actually receive the one. So, and look at him as a catalyst and say thank you for that. And move on. Let them. And hello, Parisha. I'm Lara Joe. How are you, babies? Yeah. Yes. And sometimes you cross paths with them to be like, oh, was I on drugs? Like, sometimes you do cross paths again, but it's because you're meant to see how far you've grown. Like, okay, so the dude, let's talk about this weirdness. So, dude was a past life contract for me, and he had a vibration, my very first ever ex-husband. So for me, it was a checkpoint. Like, yeah, I didn't cross paths with my first ever ex-husband again, technically, although we have in certain ways, or he's crossed my path and I've kicked him out. That situation with that dude gave me a clear indicator of if I had stayed with my first ex-husband, how my life would have looked right now, or wouldn't have looked, because like I say, he lost his mind and his girlfriend. So the lesson will cross your path again. It may not be them. Again, once I cleared out a whole bunch of stuff, I was able to see a version of my first ex-husband to say, oh my gosh, how far have I come? What did I used to tolerate? And now, what will I no longer sit for? And how it plays out long term. So, yeah, we cross paths again with the energy to give us a point to be like, oh, look at how far you've grown. Look how far you've come. Like, you're not that same girl anymore. Because you'll heal to the point where that person could walk back in your life and you'd be like, I don't ever want to see you ever again. You'll get to a point in your healing where you're like, no. Okay? So, it's a beautiful place. Because I had this conversation with my daughter this weekend because she's been doing a lot of healing and she had a betrayal. And I was like, yeah, you'll get to the point where you'll be like, why did I ever think that person was special? Because there was nothing. Let's see this. There's nothing special about that person. It's the value you put on them, right? I have people that feel like absolute home when no one else ever feels home. But then I also go, no, because that was how they felt to me, but it's not, their actions don't prove that. Okay. And yes, once you clear those lessons, they'll surface again, but it's normally to see if you're willing to do it, like to go on that ride with them again. So I had to tell my kid, I'm like, you've healed so far, don't go on that ride again. Yeah. And he may also like think of you fondly as like an escape, like as a safe place mentally, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's beneficial for you, right? So that's that part of it is, yeah, he may be in love, but unless he's stepping up, knocking on your door, all he is just, yeah. All he is just free headspace, right, babe? If he's not actually knocking on your door, all he's doing is haunting your headspace. And, baby, you're so much more magical than some dusty-ass dude. You are so much more magical than some dusty-ass dude. So stop. There's someone better. I promise. I promise. I've had it where it's like, you will think like, oh my gosh, this is so horrible. And then the next person, you're like, I am so happy I did not get locked in with that person. Hello, Locks. I'm Lara Joe, Siren Song Lover. How are you today, babes? And I have to check some things really quick. Hello, hello. I am here doing the dang thing, showing up every day, even when it's scary and doesn't look like life is supposed to look like that. And thank you, Sienna, baby, for the heart puffs. I appreciate that, babes. How am I today? There's a major storm. I held hands with one of my friends that I've been working with him in the spiritual realm for over a year, which is funny. I've been ankle deep in water, a river today. Did some other things that probably we don't want to talk about field trips here, but I will tell you this. Being a spiritual high priestess, my field trips can sometimes be wild. So, and I'm always willing to bring friends along with me when I go. All right. It was because I walked in and because I walked into that place. Yeah. Cool. And I'm about to hop out, Sienna. I have kid duty. And Sienna, I'm a text away, babes. I'm always around. Be safe. Enjoy school. I'll catch you later, babes. And Locks. Let's see. What is your spiritual today? And you're giving me consent to tap in. Let's see what the energy brings through for you. Bye, baby. Be safe. Thank you for the love. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for coming out. And be safe. Enjoy school. And depending on, like, I have had to tell my daughter, like, she'll be arguing with me during math class or catching me up on gossip. I'm like, girl, go learn. So I will do that as a loving mom energy. Sienna, go learn, baby. Make me proud as a mama. Be safe, honey. All right, and Locks. I'm sorry, my love. Let me get back in. I love saying goodbye when I can. And sometimes I'm also the queen at the Irish goodbye. If you've never heard it, the Irish goodbye, I'm mastered them. I can teach you. All right. Which flabbergasts people that don't like that. Okay, so judgment. So, Locks, baby, judgment. This is you need to make a judgment call on something. Internally, finally say no more. So, this is Libra energy. It's very balanced, right? It's saying, no, this has gone on too far. I need to call judgment on it. We can't keep doing this. So, that's the energy that I feel for you. I do have also out here, and because you're kind of in the energy, but reciprocity with tobacco. So making sure that you've been given to fairly or giving fairly. And if you haven't, it's time to call judgment on it, because I feel like it is affecting your abundance. It's like you're not able to be reciprocal because someone else has been putting you in that lack mindset. Please let me know if that resonates. And if it does resonate, please tap the like button. Please give me a comment as a verification. And definitely, follow me, come back, tell me how the life is, tell me how love is. So judgment, babes, you need to call the judgment call first, right? Because our internal world reflects our outer world. So it starts happiness, love, fairness. That's an inside job, right? So for reciprocity, if you look at it and you're like, oh, that person has not been feeding me, not mentally, not spiritually, emotionally, financially, I need to say no. I need to fill my cup. So I don't know why that's really coming heavy through it. Like, I feel like people haven't been treating you fair, but you need to call judgment on it. And then I don't want you to do anything about it, right? I'm not saying get your hands dirty. We don't ever throw hex hands here unless it's warranted, and that's something we talk about. What I am going to say is call judgment on it and give it up to your ancestral team, whoever you talk to in the spiritual realm. Or if you don't talk to him in the spiritual realm, then baby, you and I need to be talking about that, okay? Because we need to get that communication, that channel opening. When you guys come to me, I am always going to try to teach you how to do things yourself, because it's that kind of healed people heal people and hurt people hurt people, okay? I'll read that in a minute and then we'll dive into it. But it's see one, do one, teach one. So I'm here. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to show you. We're going to teach you how to do it. And then you're going to help others. So that's a big part of it. And that's that part of it. Okay, so here is this. We all have free will, right? So them not accepting you when you're being authentic. That's really what it is. You have to be authentic. And them not being able to accept you, that's a them problem. You just got to keep moving. So when people judge you, they're judging themselves. And if they're judging you and it doesn't feel right or fair, then baby, it's your job to pick yourself up. You don't have to argue with them about that. You just pick yourself up and you move yourself to safety. Okay? So people can judge all they want, but honestly, they're not God in your life, right? They don't have dominion over your free will. And when they do exert their free will over you, because I've had that a lot, and like I say, that's why I also don't do a lot of hex work unless it's really necessary, but others are not allowed to play God in your free will in your life. They're not God. So when they violate your free will, they get in trouble with the divine. You just clock it and keep moving, babes. Yeah. And it's meant to. Okay? Yeah. And they are. Like, things are shifting mentally. A lot of it changes with the mental shift, and then it changes in your physical reality, right? It vibrates out from you. So when you make a shift, because you probably had something like a point of no return, or I love to call them like the dark nights of the soul, or that spiritual ego death, you'll hit a point where it's like, I can no longer go back to being that person. So a lot of us have had shifts, really heavy shifts, where we're like, mentally, I can never walk through that door again. And then it does start transferring in real life. So. Calling judgment on it first, though, babes. Internally. And then letting it play out IRL. Okay. Oh, I need to check one thing really quick. Because. Is that. Oh, it does say 7. Please hold. What's wrong? Did it shift in the wrong, or did I catch the vibration wrong? Sorry. Okay. Are you asking if the shift was right or wrong? I guess I'm... Hey, Soft Stud. How are you, babes? I'm Larry Joe, Siren Song Lover. Come on in. Like, okay. Let's talk about this. Nothing in life truly is permanent, and nothing is right or wrong. It's just what lessons you learn from it. What information do you learn from it, right? Life is all meant to be learned, explored, lived, experienced. So... Oh, excuse me. Oh, okay. So locks, it's your mindset. Or you're asking about, okay, so your comment about April shift, or your comment about judging you. And I can actually approve that, babe. Oh. Okay. It's not, okay, so as far as judging right or wrong, it's natural to judge, right? We always call judgment on things just to be able to keep ourselves safe. So it's never right or wrong to judge. It's just like, how would we want to be judged, and how do we want others to judge us? And people deciding if we're morally right or wrong, that's a them problem. Because at the end of the day, you're the one who has to stand and get judgment, right? So your journey is your own, and not everyone's going to understand it, and that's not your problem, right? Like, that is a beautiful thing. Stop overseeming. So I don't know if I got another filtered one. Okay, so that's the first time I've ever approved comments, because I didn't know how to do that before. I didn't know to do that before, so bear with me. Was there another filter one in there, baby? Yeah. If you want to message me, Locks, we can do one on, we can chat and give clarity on the backside. So if you want to message me and we can talk about it, baby. All right. Yeah. Because I am about to hop out. I do have to. Okay, so not only, mom, high priestess, business owner. So I had a lot of message. When I looked at my messages, I saw it on my computer. I was like, that doesn't say 7 messages. That's one message, right? No, it was 7. So I have to go address some of those in a minute. Because life never stops in this world. And that's okay. I'm here. I'm learning. I'm growing. I'm evolving with you guys as well. So that's that part of it. We're all going through it. I'm just here trying to help as I can. All right. Let's see if there's any other cards. I'm Lara Jo, Siren Song Lover. To tip your favorite tarot reader, which is greatly needed and appreciated. Greatly needed. So I can keep going out and helping you guys, and also keep going out and doing field trips to be able to teach you guys, because that's what I do. I go out and I learn, and then I teach you guys. That's Cash App to tip is Siren, capital S, Song, capital S, Lover, capital L, to book a one-on-one. One-on-ones, we have huge success really quickly. Yes, they're expensive. They're totally freaking worth it. Like, everybody always comes out of it and they're like, I had real success. Went from losing a job to moving across the country, getting a brand new job, which is what he wanted. Like, into the country, like, to where he wanted to. So, to book, it's Ko-Fi, which is ko-fi.com/Siren Song Lover. I am Lara Jo. I am going to hop out. I hope you guys have a beautiful day. I'll catch you later. Okay. Bye, guys. Yeah, and we can talk about that. Locks. Because I think you probably missed the part where I was talking about my family has done a lot of work on the justice system, and I've caught on. So that's all something, like, if you wanted to talk about cases and how to break all that, that is a one-on-one with me. But okay, so I'm gonna hop out. And